Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen. This is Mary, and we're going to be cooking another simple recipe. This is my mom's recipe for chicken chow mein, and it is so good. She used to make this for us, and we all loved it. I'm the oldest of 7 children, so I've cut this recipe in half because it will make massive quantities if you cook the whole thing. But we're going to start with 3 medium onions, which I've sliced very thin. I used my food processor so I could get them as thin as possible. 6 ribs of celery, also sliced in the food processor, very thin. This is 2 chicken breasts, which I've simmered on the stove, and I had enough water to cover the chicken breasts, and I just poached them till they were tender, and then I chopped them. I reserved the broth from the chicken, and we need 2 cups for this recipe. So if you don't have quite 2 cups of broth when you get done, you can add a little water to that. We have 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, and we have 1 14-ounce can of bean sprouts, which I've drained. And we're going to take all this over to the stove, and we're going to start cooking our chow mein. You're going to love it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is add our chicken broth. Let's see, I guess I'll turn on the stove. And we'll add our chicken. Our bean sprouts. You can see what a simple recipe this is. Our very thinly sliced onions. And I like to use the food processor to slice them because they cook faster. And our celery. You can see this makes a lot. You can imagine if the recipe were doubled. And our 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And we're going to stir all this together. And we're going to simmer this until the vegetables are tender. Now, if you've sliced them by hand, they might not be as thin as the food processor slices them. So you may have to cook it as much as 30 minutes. But if they're sliced very thin like this, you can probably cook it in about 20 minutes or so. So we're going to get all this mixed together and put on the lid and just let it sit here and simmer until the onions and celery are nice and tender. Okay guys, it only took 15 minutes for my vegetables to get tender. I don't like them limp. I like just a tiny little bit of crispness to them. To thicken our sauce and to give it that glossy shine, we're going to take 2 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of cornstarch and add 1/4 cup of water to that. And we're going to mix this into our sauce. And then we'll be just about ready to eat. Now I'm going to serve this with some plain white fluffy rice and some chow mein noodles. Make sure I get this. Sorry about that squeaking noise. I hope that doesn't set your teeth on edge. Okay, let's get this mixed in. I'm a very noisy cook. I'm sorry. And I have a very noisy kitchen. The refrigerator's always running. The phone's always ringing. There's always some kind of noise in my kitchen. But the kitchen's the heart of the home, right? So that's what we expect. Okay, can you see that nice glossy sauce? This makes enough for 4 very generous servings. Okay guys, I'm going to go get the rice and the chow mein noodles and a plate, and we're going to have Chinese. Okay guys, here it is, my mom's chicken chow mein. This is so good, and every time I have it I think of her. I wish she could be here to have some of it with me right now. But I'm going to go ahead and take a bite. This is so good. I'm not a food stylist or anything, so I can't make it look as good as it tastes, but you guys need to try this. It's really, really delicious. And of course you can add some water chestnuts to it if you'd like, and I always add extra soy sauce to mine. But the basic recipe is just really, really good, so give it a try. Let me take a bite real quick. Just like my mother used to make. Thanks for coming by, guys. Sorry to talk with my mouth full, but I'll see you again soon in the kitchen. Bye now.